All right, good. I hope everyone can hear me. So thank you so much for joining us. Kia ora, as we say in Auckland. So this is our first event in Auckland. I'll talk you through a little bit introduction of our group, and then we'll go straight into the knowledge sessions. And once we are done with the knowledge sessions, then we will have some time for the networking, for food. We have some giveaways to share as well. All right, just starting. My name is Kamar Khan. I am one of the volunteers that run this community, which is called ANZ D365 FinOps team. I know the name is very long, right? Um, so we are a group that is trying to sort of engage the community into organizing events like this, where we come together, share some knowledge, have an opportunity for networking, discuss what's going on, or just to make some new friends within the Dynamics community. We are pretty much focused on finance and operations, so that's our sort of core for organizing any such events. In terms of the platforms, if you're not aware about us, you can join us on LinkedIn. So we have a LinkedIn page. The name is at the top. We also have a YouTube channel. So anything that we do here, we will record it and then publish it on our YouTube channel so you can watch it later as well. There are a lot of videos from our previous sessions that you can go and watch there as well. Also, we have a dedicated group on WhatsApp that is just restricted to our sort of members in Australia and New Zealand. So if you want to join that, just talk to any of the volunteers. I'll just introduce the volunteers that are here today. And then we can get you an invite link and you can join that as well. The real objective, as I said, was to get the community engagement, in terms of these knowledge sessions. So it's just a volunteer-led community. These are the volunteers. We just started it. I think it's been a couple of years. So we have done events like this in Melbourne, in Sydney, regularly. So we usually do an event a quarter. This is the first time we are in Auckland, and then we are hoping that we're gonna, expand into other areas as well. Just for the volunteer team here, the ones who were able to make it today, it's myself, Kamar Khan. Amar is there at the back. If you can raise your hand, Amar, yeah. So you can talk to Amar about joining any of the platforms, or if you have any questions about the group. I would like to extend a special thanks to Yasser, who's at the back, who really helped us in organizing this event in Auckland, because we didn't have presence in Auckland. So Zishan is there in New Zealand at the top, but he's in Christchurch, and due to personal reasons, he was not able to make it to today. But any questions you have, our community, our group, if you want to participate in an event like this, we will be happy to accommodate you guys. So most welcome to just come and chat about this. Today's event, the rundown is very simple. After this introduction, we will hand over to Natalia, and then she will talk about her supply chain topic. We will then give about a few minutes to Talha, who is representing Integro. So all our sessions are basically sponsored by different organizations, and they really make it happen along with us, right? So he will just take a few minutes to introduce himself, his business here, and then we'll hand over to Kasun to present his topic. And after that, we'll give you some time to have some networking. I think we have ordered a pizza, and we'll have some giveaways for you as well. In terms of our sponsors, you can see at the bottom, so Oja's Enterprise, Integro. So Integro is here. One Dynamics is another partner that is based in Australia and New Zealand that is supporting this event, and Microsoft. And a special thanks to Natalia, of course, for coordinating with us for so long and then making this thing happen and then arranging this conference for us. Very quick, that's it. Any questions you have for me? Otherwise, I'll just hand over to Natalia. No questions? All good. So this session is live streamed. through our LinkedIn page and our YouTube channel. There's a camera there just for housekeeping. If you don't want yourself to get recorded, don't show up in front of this camera, right? Otherwise, it will be all good. You'll just see there will be a little bit of transition when I'll hand over to another speaker. So we have to just make sure that whatever we are presenting here, that's going to the audience that is watching it online or will watch it later as a recorded session. All good? I'll hand over to Natalia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And just if you can share the screen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to just pop up. All right. Going back. Yes, I remember. Perfect.
Thank you.
I think we are in. Well, thank you very much for everybody who came in today, and it's great to see such a lot of people actually, and community that is interested to connect with each other and learn from each other. And it's my pleasure actually to be the host today and meet you all in person. So my topic, well, I thought I'm going to keep it super high level because knowing how diversified, our skill set is here, and not everybody is deep dive in supply chain. So I'll give you a bit of an introduction on the demand planning. And that's the new tool that was recently released. Microsoft, that went GA in April this year, actually. And yeah, I'll just give you a heads up, well, highlight what is this about, what does it do, what problems it resolves, and how we can help our customers, and what problems we can resolve for our customers. Just in short, a bit of an intro. So my name is Natalia, technology specialist here at Microsoft. Been with Dynamics back for, I don't know, more than 13 years probably, back to IX 2009 and 12 years of on-prem version. So I sort of know how the things stick together. And yeah, being in the field, implementing, working across different partners around the world, and last 10 years in New Zealand. And in terms of what I'm going to cover is, let's look at explore the supply chain cycle and execution cycle and what components contains of it, how the demand planning fits into this picture, what capabilities demand planning offers us and can offer our customers. And we'll do a bit of a sort of deep dive into the process itself, how the things stick together and how you could use the tool and the roadmap. And we can wrap up with the Q&A if you'll have any questions, and we'll be interested to know more about this product. But before I start, I sort of thought I will put some terminology in place, because what we notice most of the time is the terminology that our customers use, and we use as a consultants, and in Microsoft world itself, we always sort of tend to talk in system terminology rather than what's the from the business perspective, how it looks like. And I sort of wanted to align three types of the planning that every organization has, which is strategical, operational, and tactical, and how these align to the functionality and capabilities that our product stack provides. So the first is strategical, which will not be today sort of a topic of today's discussion, but this is more in terms of your operational and financial planning. So when organization establishes strategical goals, and they then think and look at how they're going to achieve it, whether they're going to introduce a new product line, or maybe they will go and reduce expenses and so on and so forth. So all these areas touches different side of it. And this part of capability is now covered by another tool we've introduced called business performance planning. Okay, we're not going to talk about this there, but basically every time when you hear something about strategical planning, that's the tool that you can look up and think of that it can address these problems. The part I'm focusing most of the time today and during the presentation is operational planning, is how we can achieve and how we can forecast demand for our customers, or how our customers can forecast their demand, let's say, and how we can ensure that they always have enough stock on the shelf. So basically they can serve the customers on time, and they are not running behind and in production, or basically not late with any delays in terms of the commitments they have to their customers. And the tactical one is actually how we tackle our plans and operations. So we know that we're going to sell that much. How are we actioning that? So making things work. So we've planned for a year ahead. We think that that's going to be the demand. Let's now work on the supply part of it, any sourcing thing, manufacturing part. So this is the actual execution cycle, which comes with the master planning. And master planning is an engine in finance and operations, and you probably know. And MRP, the capabilities, which looks at your demand ahead, looks at your supply, looks at your inventory, tries to match the things up. And if there is a discrepancy, let's work on fulfilling those discrepancy, and whether it will result in production order, purchase order, or maybe transfer order when we talk in terms of a store replenishment or something else. These are the areas where it sort of digs in. But by all means, today's topic is demand planning, and in terms of the cycle itself, sorry, I didn't click. Okay, well, good. So there are 3 levels, and sort of this slide shows very well how the execution cycle and what main components, and I guess the parts of the capabilities resides where. So in terms of the demand planning, everything related to your inventory forecasting, or your end-to-end sort of forecasting management for defining the stock levels that would need to be, introducing new product lines, or actually decommissioning the product lines that you're phasing out, again, as a part of your forecasting and planning of your demand. These are the parts that they are. And of course, the other sort of more, I would say, the rules that we are defining, how we are forecasting by, establishing what's the organizational strategy in terms of what product lines, what level we forecast to. Do we forecast by customer? Do we forecast by location? Do we forecast by product line if we need to, or we keep it high level, or we keep it very, very granular? So for example, if you have chips, you could just forecast and say, I think of forecasting the chips and that's the one. Or you can then go and say potato chips, corn chips, and everything. You might do to this level, you might go to the top level, and then somehow have a rules behind it, which will sort of see and split your expected demand on it. The other part, which is important and previously wasn't really well probably delivered or done in the old version of the planning and forecasting that we had as a part of out-of-the-box capabilities, is collaboration, because changing like the forecast itself, the editing and just planning takes lots of ups and downs, and you'll have back and forth between different people. It's just because it involves salespeople, it involves your operations as well, and you'll have lots of conversations in it. Hence, the demand planning tool is the tool that was envisaged as the tool that would support the collaboration between different teams to actually find your forecast consensus and get the final numbers done and ready, and sort of short the time the company spends from defining this final point of how much they're gonna forecast, and shorten the time cycle. So if you don't have a proper collaboration tool, it may take you months, and maybe months is too long to find the compromise. But if you have a proper collaboration tools, it would potentially take you just days, maybe a week or so. And then, of course, the supply planning part, which kicks in, and I've talked about the place and the place where everything fits together, our safety stock calculation, our MRP, and demand-driven material and demand-driven MRP, which is the other part which sits in our the planning solution. All the scheduling, the material requirements calculation, and the optimization and the replenishment rules that are there. And the last one, the execution, so your actuals. your sales orders, your purchase orders, your production orders, warehouse transfer, how to deliver your transportation part, and maintaining your main product details. In terms of capabilities, and I'll cover that a little bit more in details as I go through the process itself. But the main reason why demand planning app has been introduced, because we did have before a part of like demand forecasting module in finance and operations. So why do we have the new one? The reason being is it's been limited, because what we are tend to see, and probably most of you would see that when you do the like when you work on the project or work with your customers, not all the customers will have the history sitting in the system. Okay, some customers actually have multiple systems where they have the sales information. Like not everybody would have one ERP which manages everything. And the previous tool was limited in terms of if you want to forecast, the transaction should be there. You can ingest them, but what does it mean? You have to bring into ERP all the historical information, which really not the place for it to be there, because all you need to know is you need to know what's your consumption, past consumption for, and then we actually looking ahead. We're not looking backwards. We don't need this data there. So the good thing with the demand planning is it actually provides you the flexibility of feed the data from any source. So whether it's just an Excel spreadsheet, data lake, maybe another instance of finance and operations, or maybe you have an on-premise customer who is not yet moving but wants to move, and maybe they want to start from the forecasting, because all you need is you need to have your history that you can feed into this. Okay. The other part was the segmentation analysis. So segmentation in terms of how are we forecasting by previously, and if we look back at what is embedded and exists in finance and operations, is there is just predefined set of fields, and this is literally what you can go with. You can go with customer group, or you can go by product, you can go by country. This tool allows you to set up anything you like. So you have some custom information that is nowhere to be captured. Okay, well, here you go. Add this as a field. Add this as an additional information for your forecast slicing dicing. As long as you have that breakdown and the link, sort of whether it's a classification of the product or you have this captured on the sales transaction. For example, your channel of how would you get the orders. Maybe I would like to know that how much orders I'm going to get via EDI. It's not probably a good example, but you see what I'm saying is finding those extra parameters that would influence your forecast and that you would like to use to analyze that as well. The other is collaborative planning. I've talked about this previously, and without having a good integration with Teams or other collaboration tools, it's all about just reviewing the numbers, changing that, and we didn't even have sort of the support of the versioning. And in forecasting world, the tracking the forecast version, who made the change, why this change has been made, this is critical, because if you are bumping up the forecast for 20%, 5%, you would want to know who done it and what the reasons behind it. Do you have a promotion, or you just you have that you're running the introducing a new product line, and you would expect this to sell quicker because of this promotion. So again, previously you couldn't do this. You couldn't track to the level of who changed that, what change has been made, save all these versionings after review, and have the full traceability and login of how the forecast changed from the draft version to the signed off, and how we actually got through this journey. We only had like initial one and the final one, and that's all you know. You don't see the changes midway through, and you don't know the reasons behind them. This tool will give you the full transparency, basically. In terms of the integration and transformation, again, coming back to my first point in terms of the data that you store, you can actually import any data you like. And when I'm talking about any data, it's something that may influence your forecast. So I'm selling an ice cream. I'm a ice cream manufacturer, and I know my demand goes up in summer. Or maybe I am selling snacks, and I'm retail store, and I know, and I have next to the stadium next to my store, and I know there is a game, and every time when there is a game, my forecast or my sales go up. Okay, I don't have to say, save this information in ERP. There is no place for the weather data, inflation rates, the events that goes around. However, these contribute to my forecast because they are spiking my demand. And basically, the beauty of it, what we have at the moment is you can introduce anything you like, and you can use these as a triggers for your as basically an influence on your forecast information. And then various sorts of analytics and visuals, which I'm going to go through today. You'll see a lot, like the visually, the usability is very flexible. The tool is built on top of Power Platform. So that's basically a model-driven app. So the look and feel is very different to this ERP type of forms when it's the grids, the buttons, and we see nothing literally, which we used to work in because, oh, sorry, that's a microphone. But yeah, that's what we used to do. And in terms of extensibility, just to cover back, I think I've worded that a few times already, is actually we can feed any data, meaning that we can change or introduce or import any information into the system by importing it somewhere. You need to have a table, a field, or something. And being built on low code, basically using the Power Platform capabilities, and being with low code, you can introduce anything you like without the need to have a developer tapping into it. So that's another good thing about it. So if we look at how, in general, the forecasting cycle works, okay? And I'm gonna be like, that's gonna be probably more like a mechanical stuff, not the business process. But in a way, it aligns to what the users do. So you'll have some inputs. You have your historical demand, regardless of whether it sits in a file, blob storage, the system doesn't have to be FNO. And then these inputs are then pre-processed. We define in some rules how we shape that out. So think of it as you're taking the transactional level of table of the data. So my sales transactions, literally one by one, and then I aggregate them by day, by month. So to the level is convenient for me to do my forecast, because you don't have to have all the variety of information. We compress that and aggregate to the level we need, and then we process that. And then we process that and we generate our forecast and find our numbers, and we define what algorithms we use. And we have a flexibility of using different algorithms out of the box. And I will talk about this later, but basically you can pick and choose what products would use specific algorithms, and you can even introduce your own. If you have something written in Azure Machine Learning Studio, you can plug this in and use that instead of the ones that are shipped out of the box. Once the forecast is done, we look at the numbers, we review them, we sign them off. Signing off means that it comes into your ERP for further execution. And this is where MRP kicks in. We look at the supply, demand, give you the planned orders and suggestions, you firm the orders, and you just go from there. You receive, you execute your production, and so on and so forth. So let's just walk through these sort of 5 main steps, which would be the input that we can feed, and how we shape up the data, how we forecast, and how we publish, well, put this information and provide an input to our planning engine. So the first one is the data input. So basically, what you could do is introducing or uploading or maintaining your main product information, and also the information that, well, the product and information that you would want to forecast by. You can define any column you like. You can map, if you are introducing custom tables from the front end, you can map the relationships between them. Think of it as, I have my product list and I have my product classification, and maybe my product classification is actually stored in my PIM system, product management system, which is different to what I have in my ERP. What I could do, I can grab this data in, map them together, and this is just going to go through together. All this then will reside in the app and will be available for you. In terms of the data, and something that I covered earlier, is when we are planning how we're shaping this up, you actually define what the data and from which table you are taking the data to forecast by. And then you simply select all the information, regardless of whether it resides in your history table or it's a related table. So think of it as, I have a sales history, I have an information about my sale, but then on the product itself, I have a classification. Or maybe I have on the customer, the address details. I don't have to bring it into my historical table. All I could do is I say, hey, based on the history, let's join our customer from customer master and take the address or customer group, any other field you like, customer segment, customer subsegment, same works for the product. And literally all the entities that your demand relates to can be active and enabled. And you define the timestamp of whether and how would you like to forecast by. Do you forecast by the time when Excel transaction has been invoiced or it has been delivered? Because that also can be different, depends on organization. Somebody would want to know the delivery because they invoice once a month, or something like that. So all of this is a flexibility that is built in, which wasn't there before. And now it's just the simple setup of the profile of the product, and you're defining dimensions and parameters which are shaping up your output forecast. In terms of the forecast itself, so I haven't covered the algorithms. So 4 algorithms out of the box, which is ARIMA, and then profit, and then ETL, and I think best fit, which in our case, best fit means that let's run 3 of them and find which one gives us the more accurate information. But again, coming back to the point, you can plug in different algorithms. And by all means, if you have a work with organization that has a large variety of products and they have different trend, different seasonality, maybe it's just the organization which has different businesses, you are able to actually go and say, for this subset, let's use this type of algorithm. For the other one, let's use another one. And same comes with the slicing and dicing forecast. Maybe one division is a specific, let's say, a division which work with specific strategic accounts, and you actually do the forecast by to the customer level. But for majority of others divisions, you just forecast by just any sale. Let's say you don't go to the customer, you just need to know the number. So all of these things is the way or the place where you shape up your forecast. In terms of visuals, and that's how nice it could look, I would say. The interface itself is fully dynamic. You can roll up, collapse or expand to any field literally you like. So basically, if you look at the data in front of you, which is sort of just shows you the information by the warehouse, in reality, behind the scenes, there is a product, there is a unit of measure, there is maybe product type, maybe variant if it's a different variation. But when the person reviews it, and that comes to the point, is for me as a demand planner, what is important when I review my forecast? So I don't have to worry about other stuff. And easily expand and collapse and group your visual by what you need and what's the top of mind for you is something that is now available and possible with this tool. The other part is the color coding. And you would think what color coding is, why it would be important. But highlighting to people, saying, hey, this is an unusual spike in your demand, and it more than 50% than usual. Let's highlight it as red so I can focus and address this ones before, the odds before, and I would know what's within my tolerance limit and what's not. And I will focus on only those which is top of mind for me and what's important. So the other part is the collaboration, and you would see like any other, and for those who used to see and work with Dynamics 365 for sales, will be saying that's no-brainer that you can integrate with Teams with no problems. But now for ERP, us as ERP consultants, we know that it's not always been possible. But here is literally not, don't think only about the teams as a collaboration, but sort of coming back to, you see on the side the comments information. Think of it as like you work in Excel or Word, and you do your notes and you mark your notes in the comment area, right? So exactly same functionality. What does it mean for you? It means that if you make a change, you can make a note, and whoever going to come after you and do the review, they would know why this has been done. You could also make it so that the system would log actually these notes automatically. Well, sometimes just like the number was adjusted for the product ABC. Oh, that was the last one. The other thing which is not seen here, but yeah, the version history is basically every time you make the change, you don't have to, but you could actually, once you come to the specific sort of milestone of saying, okay, this is good from my perspective, and it's time to pass it on to another team, you save it as a version history. And from there, if other team will make the change, you always have the safeguard to come back to the one you had before. So again, all this traceability part taps along the way. So what's going on with the product and the roadmap? So the product grows rapidly, and I would say from the time when it's been available, from the 1st of April, it's the functionality and capabilities introduced just every month, almost every month we have the updates. So here it's a bit of a summary in terms of what is expected or what's already been done or planned to be done in wave 2, which is 2024. And something like time fence, freezing time fence. So thinking of it as if you do the rolling forecast and you've done the changes for the current months, next month you don't want to go back and have somebody tapping into this view to the previous past months influence, because this has been signed off. So different sort of type of housekeeping in terms of being able to define forecasting per company, because majority of organizations may have forecast only in some specific legal entities, not all of them. One of the big ones, which is coming or just recently actually went GA in October, is the signal. So remember my comment about the weather. So you can introduce external signals, and then you can have them influencing on your forecasting data. Copilot, of course, in terms of understanding and tracing why there is a difference between this and the previous month. So sort of anything that will help you easily to identify why this number is there and how it differs from the previous period or from your history, and gives you the summary straight away. And basically various sort of enhancements in terms of seasonality. And now in preview, there are a couple of exciting features as well. So some of them are expanding or supporting more than one influence factor of the signal, because now we can do only one-to-one. So support more than one signal that could influence your forecast, and then presenting you the summary. Because remember how I've mentioned about the columns and cells, at some point it can become, it's a good thing to have the traceability, but at the same time, how would you read it? Are you going to look at every single cell and comment it? So you could actually have a copilot, well, a visual, which will go through and summarize it for you and present and say, Natalia made a change from this to that. So basically gives you a bit of a, without the need of drilling down and looking into these details. And some various type of the product allocations. So comes back to, if I have a demand for the retail store and I want to have allocation rules behind the scenes and say, hey, this is my demand, but this is how it should be proportionally allocated against the stores. So managing these rules. Long term, something that is envisaged back is make it available with and working together, so sort of jointly with our business performance planning tool, which is the tool for strategical planning. So think of it as you have a demand planning that runs and does your forecast by product, which was seen from the other side by finance team or your senior execs as your income and revenue. Okay, so it's already landed on specific GL accounts. You see the numbers by phase, by bucket, whatsoever. You don't have to double count. So that's the vision sort of we come towards, to bring these two together, and then sort of supporting more sales and operations processes and make it the tool let's say, providing the visibility for this tool of your inventory balance. Okay, so something which we used to see in the ERP itself, but by thinking of it as like, if you can feed your on-hand inventory, even just a starting point, as on-hand as of today, into the tool, and then in the tool itself you'll have your sales. If you bring your purchase, it's no brainer that you can figure it out. It will give you some sort of understanding what's your inventory in the end of the month. Okay, so all of these things are streamlining that experience and sort of enabling more and more scenarios is basically our North Star that we are heading towards. Otherwise, I think I'm done. Any questions? And sorry if I'm being too fast and talking too fast. Super excited about this topic, you can tell. But otherwise, yeah, any questions?
So previously, like we all know that the standard module had some shortcomings, and we used to use the ISVs like Farsight and all.
Correct.
So is this new functionality, will it replace that? Like will have all the functionalities that we use?
I would definitely say that this functionality has more to compete with the ISVs on the market. Sometimes ISVs do go beyond some specific things. So let's say Farsight, if we take as example, has lots of rules in terms of safety stock calculation. Okay, so this tool just does the demand forecasting. So in terms of if you're working with an organization who has tricky rules, and requires a bit more control over it, might be still ISV might be still relevant. But what I can tell you for sure is the area, or let's say the customers, what we see is the customers who were mostly used manual forecast before, they didn't use best of breed solutions, they can easily transition to this tool, and they have more formal and structured processes. And of course, if you have a complicated organization who've used something like a best of breed before, it might not be there, of course.
Is this feeding to planning optimizer or?
Correct. So from the technical point of view, okay, so if you all familiar, or some of you may familiar and who works with supply chain management, we have a table called demand forecast table. Okay, so to oversimplify this, all this tool does is it feeds the data into the demand planning. And back in my days when I've been doing implementation, and when it was out of scope, all I could tell my customers is do it in Excel and import it into the system, and and then it will work out. Basically, this tool replaces your Excel. It's your brains of forecasting, and then once this has been done and signed off, this is carries over and picks up and kicks off your further supply chain processing. So in terms of licensing, it is licensed as a part of Supply Chain Premium. Supply Chain Premium is basically the license that includes the capability of all supply chain management plus demand forecasting.
To have people collaborate that are not being satisfied user with that, should they have these?
They would still have, so whoever, yes, correct. Whoever has access to this tool, they will have a premium license. Yeah, so the premium license covers demand planning. Plus, of course, plus they can go and do supply chain, but you do have to be licensed for this. Any other questions? Seems to be quiet.
Any other questions?
All right. Well, say it again. Yes, you can still use it, but I would probably challenge in terms of, does it worth the investment? And what I'm trying to say is the beauty of having supply chain premium is it gives you the capability, like it gives you permissions or roles and access to supply chain. Okay, so licensing wise, it's more cost efficient to run on finance and operations than have Oracle or SAP or whatsoever, and then pay for your minimum licensing, which is 10, by the way, and pay for your 10 minimum supply chain premium and then integrate with other solutions. By all means, technically, it is possible. It depends on the strategy, but I would say, yeah, driving the cost and understanding the cost and implication, I would probably say it will not be as attractive as if you would not use, if you would use supply chain, D365 supply chain. All right,
All
seems
good.
to be happy
Thank you
days.
so much, Natalia.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me just get my stuff in, and I will unshare. All right. Oh yeah. Sorry. There you go.
Thank you so much, Natalia. And love the energy that's going in. So we will not bore you. We'll just pass through quickly through the sessions. We'll just take 5 minutes for Talha, who's gonna take 5 minutes and present something about his organization. He will introduce you to his business. Talha, you can come. And another reminder, so after 5 p.m., if you need to use the toilet facilities, then let one of us know, because there will be a card that you will need to come out if you don't want to spend your night in a toilet. So, this is the one. Yeah, that's the one. You can push it there. You happy to duplicate? Yeah, duplicate it. But all good, whatever it is. Yep.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thanks for coming, and thanks to the organizers and the host for making this event happen. I'm representing Integral Solutions. We are a partner based in Australia, fairly new. It's been 5 years now. Uh, Everything started in 2018. When we founded our organization, and then in the same year formed a strategic relationship with one of the biggest partners of FinOps and Dynamics World in Pakistan. And then in 2019, we had our first breakthrough in terms of Dynamics 365 FinOps implementation. It was a failed project taken up by a big partner in Australia. Due to the project complexities and the customizations, after 3 failed attempts, customer had enough. So we were able to join in and then support them. And it was a good learning curve for everyone. We did deliver that in 2021 when at the peak COVID time when everybody was locked down in Australia. So we did that big project with one onshore consultant and 15 offshore consultant at the peak time. So that was a big thing for us at that time, and it's still running in BAU, it's working pretty fine. Fast forward to 2021, we had our first major breakthrough in. We went across Australia to USA and did an implementation for NTS, and they are pretty much working nowadays in US space and defense sector. And in 2022, we started our diving into the BC world and help the health workforce Queensland to transform their finance and operation processes. 2023, AI came in. We thought, all right, this is something new, and this is going to help masses in the future, and that's the thing that we should integrate with our systems, not necessarily finance and operation, but how we can use it to deliver or optimize the processes that are linked to the implementation process, not necessarily the finance and operation or the CE, but it's more like how we can introduce the capabilities of AI to leverage it in a way that it short circuit or it reduces the implementation time and pretty much help us in doing the lag work. So that's still in progress and we are using it. And one of my business partner who's not here, unfortunately he couldn't make it, he's a very big advocate of AI. So I'll just wait for him to express that whenever we are here next time. And in 2024, we are going through an implementation for a finance project. It's subscription billing based. It's again a failed project. There was a partner that were trying to take it over, but due to the complexities and the model of the business, they couldn't go through. So we, in about 2 weeks' time, we are hoping to go live with that. And the reason for coming here is we are also expanding our business in New Zealand region. There are talks about having a customer here. We are in negotiations, and hopefully, it's a big household name in New Zealand. I'll keep it confidential for the obvious reasons. And if that goes through, so we will be starting our practice in New Zealand, hopefully in the new years. So meet our core team. I'm Talha, and I've got another business partner with the same name, Talha Masood. So it's going to be a little confusing. Uh, it is always confusing, even for our kids sometimes. And I've been in the market or in this dynamics world for almost about it's been more than 10 years. I started my journey back there in 2009 when we had AX 2012, and it was going through the implementation or the upgrade process. I had the opportunity to be a part of Microsoft's public sector team at that time for the upgrade project of AX 2009 to 2012. And then Tala Masood, he comes from a project implementation, project management background, business analyst. So he also comes with a big big experience of 18 years overall in all different industries. And uh, you all know Amar Khan. He's one of our core team members. Adnan Zakir, he is leading the data and AI practice based in Brisbane. And Shahid is our CE consultant. And we do have a big strategic relationship and a partnership overseas, which makes us a bit of a unique in a sense that we can blend in different kinds of packages for customers based on their budget and different functional or technical requirement needs. We do have collaboration with one of the biggest partner in Sydney, or sorry, in Australia, where we have provided them offshore resources whenever they need it and whenever there is a capability shortage at their end. What we do as of now, Integro, which is the short for integrate and integration and growth. We just try to use the standard out of the box products that are made available by Microsoft and try to utilize it or pitch it to the customer in a way that whichever has the best capability, use that one. Do not be more centric towards one product, or don't use your bias in that, because um, personally, I believe I've been in talks with Microsoft on a different level. Uh, I do have some understanding of their future roadmap, that how solutioning and everything is going to work in 18 months from now. There is going to be a big shift. So how that is going to fit in the picture, how different products, including Dynamics, FinOps, BC, CE, Power Apps, how all they integrate and how we can leverage their capabilities to build solutions by reducing the customization time and use the out of the box capabilities and the integration capabilities that are going to come in, just to streamline the process and avoid the upgrade cost to the customer. That's how we can make a bigger and a better a marketplace for Microsoft. So our core strengths are offshoring, strong offshore workforce model. We have capabilities in FinOps, CE, Business Central, and all other bespoke applications that can be built using Microsoft Stack. Uh, uh, I think we can clearly say that we can do or turn around failed projects. I've done it 2 times, and the third one is almost near the corner. And now we are integrating the AI powered delivery by just modifying the process of your or automating the process that sits there. For example, mm, how can I streamline the project management process, or how can we bring in the AI capabilities to reduce the project manager's workload and provide better insight, so that he or she is able to better control the budget, the processes, and we can set the expectations right with the customer that this is going to come in the future if following parameters are not met. We have got a very flexible engagement model. In the past, we have provided customers with the onshore resources, with offshore, with a hybrid blended model based on the cost or the budgetary constraint, and it has really worked well. So these are our notable customers. Plantmark is one of the biggest plant wholesaler, real plant wholesaler based in Australia. Uh, Barhead is one of our partners. Barhead is an implementation partner based in Australia. We do provide them with resources. And Sime Darby is another big customer that we have personally served. Now, upcoming, we are also investing in non-dynamics products in AI. Pulse AI is just one of that thing. It is for the health professionals, or let's say for the physiotherapist. They have got a lot of physical work to do, and they also need to keep track of how is the patient traveling, what's the situation like, and there's a lot of note taking. There is a lot of documentation that needs to be done in 15 minutes time. How can we reduce this? So we are trying to, in fact, this is almost going in production. We have built an app that allows to record the session, of course, with the consent of the patient. Records the session. There are few triggers that how you want to run it. Right. So it records the session, converts speech to text, and based on some templates, it generates a summary. It goes out as an email to the actual practitioner. Then they validate it, hit the next button, and it gets stored as the customer's patient's diary note at that time. So that is one thing that we are. This is the first of the AI product that we have launched in the market. It is still work in progress. It is about to go live by the end of this year. Upcoming future, fluid UI. It's a concept that how we can leverage the power of AI to generate user interfaces based on the user's needs for the day. For example, there are a couple of examples in front of you. I want to send payments to approved vendors. What are the options? What are the approved vendors? How do I get to know which payment needs to go today? So it just builds a pretty list, or somehow it generates or renders a UI, a very visual UI to let the end user decide which one to process first. Same goes for the other one. A salesperson or a product manager may want to see, I want to see the new NSW sales for product A based on different factors. It just generates the UI. It can be click-through links or detailed about how that report is getting generated. So it is still a concept. There may be few more edge cases or use cases which will make it a possibility. This is what we are heavily investing at this stage. And one of the other areas is security. How can we use the Dynamics AX or FinOps security model to generate security roles, etc., based on a specific customer's requirement instead of going through all those testing, etc., etc. It's a long process. So this is going to shorten the time of implementation. And by the way, there is already a product in the market by Microsoft. They have already acquired it by, I think it is by HSO. There has been an acquisition on the similar lines. So that was one thing. So the problem or the good thing with the AI is you have got a concept today, start working on it tomorrow, and the next day it's already there in the market. So so things comes in and goes, and it's a challenge for us as well, but we are looking forward to it. So does it spark any interest? There are our contact details. You can follow us on our LinkedIn page and connect to the phone number that we have in the screen on the screen. And yeah, happy to discuss further and make good connections. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Sona. All right. I hope you guys are not tired for just the next 20-30 minutes presentation. So we can move on. Just for another reminder, if you need the drink, they are back there. Now I'll just hand over to Kasim, and Kasim is going to talk about the product.
टाइम नोट किया कितना टाइम लगा इसमें?
तुझे 10 मिनट लगे,
पागल हो गया 10 मिनट लगे नहीं यार
10-12
नहीं यार
हाँ 10 करते तू लंबी करता
अबे नहीं मैं लंबी करता हूँ
अब इतनी प्रेजेंटेशन जल्दी कैसे करोगे जब 5 मिनट में
3 मिनट में
बात 2 मिनट में बोले
नहीं देखो बात सुन
तीन
3
5 मिनट में करते
देखो 3 मिनट में कर चुका हूँ मैं
एम्प्लॉय बख्श करो
तला क्या हाल है अरे आपका नाम सुना है मैंने तो तस्करा हो रहा तला और आपका भी तस्करा हो रहा है
काफी काफी
अच्छा मार दिया
what you've done for years
yeah
Steven
Talha, yeah it's just a journey that you need to take
yeah
it's a leap of faith and yeah here we are yeah so whatever he said after his session is recorded now yeah if you're happy to do it like yeah sure so I just want to make sure we are sharing so where was your stream it's up here 50% share screen this one it's share
Thank
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So we'll start with leveraging Copilot and agent features. So you might notice that my topic already changed a bit, slightly because agent features came in. So I included the agent features as well. So I'm supposed to do the SCM part of it, but I included the agent features, which recently came up with Microsoft as well. So I'm going to touch on that as well. Okay. A bit about myself. I've been working 14 years, 14 plus, I think probably similar, same as Natalia, I guess, and currently solution lead at Duco Consultancy. And I've worked with Dynamics and also Power Platform, I mean, CE pretty much as well. So mostly FNO, my experience from 14 years mostly, but I've done few projects on CE and Power Platform as well. I've run Dynamics Power Platform community for Sri Lankan Dynamics 365 user group and Power Platform user group. And you can find me in D365 bit. So I have my website and YouTube, which I showcase on sessions and stuff like that. Right. So what interests me, cricket and running, hiking pretty much. So that's pretty much. And also Microsoft MVP as well. That's didn't mention earlier. Right. So the agenda. So I'll go through, I think with 30 minutes we have, but I have few demos that I can show. So I'll go through with the agenda quickly on certain topics, the ones which that you might be familiar with, right? So what is generative AI? So just to capture, whole this started with the ChatGPT, so everyone knows. So just wanted to highlight how fast it captured the market. So if you can see ChatGPT 2 months, 200 million. So that's how it started, right? Everything. Idea, prompt, LLM output. So you doing the prompts for so many times per day now. So you might be so familiar with the prompts. So I'm not going to touch much on that. So I'm going to go a bit deep into the impact of the AI evolution for ERP. So to start with how the AI evolution, started. So if you think about the 1990s, so pretty much the early ERP era. So you have the basic automation, simple DB, simple databases basically, and limited integration capabilities. And when it comes to 2000, you have integration phase, you have a web-based, came into the picture, early cloud solutions, you have basic analytics, but not too advanced, right? And then you have smart ERP, which came in 2000 to 2023 period, and then mainstream cloud ERP, machine learning impact. So machine learning introduced in this period, and real-time analytics. So you come to the Power BI era kind of thing, right? And now it's co-pilots, AI-powered automation, and agents. So if you think in a high level, so it's a system of records, right, in ERP. but now it's moving towards system of actions, right? Why I say system of actions, because there's agents coming into the picture, so that can do autonomous tasks, which we will go in and look into it later. And you have AI powered automation, co-pilots, all these, you can do a lot of tasks and actions, pretty much. So it's moving towards that target. It's not there, but it's a evolution. And the UI as well, you can see that's how much it's evolving now, right? Okay, so AI applications in supply chain management. So these are some of the areas, but there might be some more that we can think of, like real-time decision making, supply collaboration, inventory optimization, right? And then you might have seen the warehouse management. I would show that as well. You have the co-pilot updates, like how much your status and everything. So you have the warehouse management, transportation logistics. It's something that will come in my perspective. So delivery routes and tracks and shipments, all these things will come into the picture, I would suspect. And demand forecasting, I think Natalia touched upon as well. So there will be the agents coming into that's in the upcoming pipeline, which she was showing as well. So the demand forecasting, you will have AI agents running on it. Disruption, anticipations, and supply management. So supply management, which is one which I will show as well. So that's announced by the Microsoft as well. So this is kind of a high level. What are the areas which it can touch on supply chain, basically? And let's look at what is Copilot. So just to get I think everyone have used Copilot. I don't think anyone haven't used here. So everybody have used it. So just to get the conceptually what's Copilot and what's agent, just the difference, right? We talk about Copilot and agents, right? So the Copilot AI powered assistant, and you will see large language models running in it, different large language models, and natural language interface that you can key in, ask questions, and then it'll give you reply. And then you can do some automations as well, right? And this, what it does basically, it'll enhance the productivity and creativity at the end, right? And you have what is an agent. So I'll give the agent example. You have worked, you probably have got experience with working with travel agents, right? So I'll get the same concept with travel agent to AI agent, right? Because the travel agent, what it'll do, like if I want to go on a plan, I plan to go to Paris, something like that, on a vacation, and I'll probably have a call. I'll tell them the details. This is what I need to do. I might need to go to Paris. I might need to go from Paris to, I might need to go to Belgium somewhere. I know all these details, and he can, look at his database, what are the best options based on the systems that he knows, and then come back and, give you the conversation, have a conversation, and give you updates on that. So it's human expertise knowledge, personalized decision making, right? And human coordination skills, right? And similarly, if you convert that to AI agent, it's a program knowledge base, and it's a data driven decision making. Basically, the AI agent will have different set of environments, or the the link to different systems, and then it can go and find out the best fit for your scenario, right? Because you have certain conditions and it needs to be meshed. And then if that has some questions, it might give you some reply, and then based on that, you might give a feedback, and it will give you some more details on it, right? And then it is a digital tool coordination rather than human coordination, because it's a digitally coordinated. So that's how I would come up with travel agent to have an analogy to link it back to the AI agents, right? And what are the characteristics of AI agent? So I would say memory. Memory is one of the key things, because it can keep the memory in place, like the context, so that it can answer to the questions, and then the perception, so it can process the environmental information and the other things as well. And in the tool usage, different tools you can use. Advanced AI agents can use different tools, and in the planning, so it can plan as well. So AI agent functions, there are different functions that it can do, like goal oriented. It can have a different goal, that you can give a goal. Okay, this is your goal. This is what you need to achieve. Or it's a decision making, because you have the reasoning as well in these new LLMs, which is not there previously, and you can do the decision making as well. And then expert knowledge, because you can train on expert area, then you can make it an expert knowledge on that certain part of the field. So it keeps evolving, keeps learning, and then it's having that expert knowledge. And resource coordination, so it can coordinate with different resources, maybe with different systems, and get the feedback. And then it's autonomous as well, right? So that's how I would see like the difference between the Copilot. But if you ask Copilot is an agent, it is an agent, but it's a primary, like it's a basic kind of agent, but it's not advanced, right? So I think this is what Microsoft showed. So it have like 3 types of agents, which I would say retrieval, and then task, and then the autonomous. So autonomous is the advanced section of automating everything, right? Right. So it's come to what AI agent can do. So example on this scenario, I have a user, I have an agent in between, and then I have a database. So if you think user, maybe think of a scenario, maybe FNO, user is asking what is the customer balance for the account ABC. And then the agent will go and query back from the database. So it might be your Synapse link, probably. Let's imagine it's Synapse link. And then it'll give you the answers back, right? So it's actually user, agent, database, and then the result will be processed, and then the final output will be delivered back to the user again, right? So that's the output. And I had a session. We had a session last week. So so we had Milinda Vitana from Microsoft. So was showing us that you have a capability like in Synapse Link. So when you have the data in the Synapse Link, you can create your copilots directly from there, and then you can use it back in the Copilot Studio, right? So you can have a Q&A copilot. So you pretty much can do the same task. So you select whichever the entities that you want, and you can select in the Copilot Studio. It's amazing. Like that's yeah.
So it's a very interesting topic. When I was doing this presentation, I was reimagining the structure that's being shown in the Power virtual checkboxes and all that.
Yeah.
So it is something like the replica of that you're showing right now. Power virtual agent, they are also interacting with the database through the agent. We are interacting.
Yeah. So I'll show the Copilot Studio. I have the demo there as well. So when we have the answers like Q&A, FNO Q&A one, you have behind the Copilot Studio. I have done few demos, so I wanted to show. That's why I'm doing a bit faster, because it's only 30 minutes I have. So just to capture and show you the demos and stuff. So I have. So I'll be touching upon these 2 areas: Microsoft Copilot Studio and supply chain management. These are the whole business applications on the Copilot side. And if you're across the FNO, you would know that there are 3 types of Copilot experiences that you can have. So you have Sidecar, which is you can extend as well using the Copilot Studio. So which I will show as well on today. And then you have embedded features, which is pretty much if you know the confirm purchase orders with changes, right? That's pretty much embedded inside, and then you can create emails and create to the teams and stuff, right? And then you have outside. So the outside would be in Teams. You're maybe asking a question, how much your on-hand inventory, and then it'll give you back looking at the basically behind the scene, like the data, looking at the data, and then giving you the answer. Okay, for this item, this is how much, right? So that's the 3 types that we see this time. So let's go into the common copilots that we have across the Dynamics 365. So we have chat with finance and operations data. So that's the one which I was showing, like which I was mentioning on the Microsoft 365 Copilot that you need, so that you can query and get the answers. And then you have generative help and guidance, so that provides the AI powered assistance. So that's the one which you can see on the right side here. And then the workflow summary, which is here. This is the workflow summary. So that's a good use case because you can see where it is, right? And so when you take a workflow, you can see where it sits within the summary. Because if you imagine like maybe, I don't know, 50 to 100 steps, then you don't know where it is at the final step. So you can see where it is at, right? So that's a good summary, good use case for the summary, I would say here. So this is the chat with finance and operations. This is just a demo which I took from Microsoft, so that you can chat to the data, then you'll get the answer. So it's asking on the what is the availability of laptop, which item. They'll give an item, and then it'll ask you, and then it'll give you feedback on how much the quantities and everything, right? And how they would do this. So this is how it's being done currently. So user will be asking the question here, and then there's a Copilot orchestrator which will go and retrieve the skills from the Dataverse, skills from Discovery Service, and then the Dataverse, and then retrieving back the information back into the users again, right? So it also uses you can see the fetch XML as well. Behind the scene, it uses the fetch XML to retrieve all this information, right? So that's how it does basically. And in terms of supply chain management, there are few things that we have like AI summaries, demand plan analysis, which Natalia was talking about, showing it, and then inventory inquiry, and then purchase order change review, and then the warehouse management mobile insight. So these are the ones which you can see basically on the supply chain management part of it now. And if you see the AI summaries, you would see AI summaries in different places. You can see it in the vendor summary, purchase order summary, customer summary, sales order summary, product details summary, product summary. When hovering on the item, you can see some Copilot statistics coming in, insights. So that's about the AI summaries pretty much. And the warehouse management mobile insight, you can see the warehouse mobile when you I can show as well this one. So when you enter in, you'll see the insights on the right side, and then if you want to disable or enable, you will see the show Copilot on startup when you go to the settings. Yeah, so that's how you can do it. Right, so it's demo time probably. Let me go in and show. Yeah. Yeah, so I have yeah, I'll go to the FNO and probably show some of the extensions which I did. So just to show you the difference, like how you can do it. I'll show the demo first, and then I'll go and show how I have done it behind the scene. Right. So this is also one which I talk about, but I'm not going to go in depth on the confirmed purchase orders with changes.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. Thanks. Yeah. So this is one of the ones which I talk about, confirm purchase order with changes, but I'm not going to go into that much because you might have seen that. So I'll go into the Copilot Studio here on the generative answers one. So I'll just say hi. Hopefully demo board is my side. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So it understand it's me. Welcome back. And then it gives me who's the user. So I'm the user. So it's actually understanding the context and it's giving me the results. And I can ask on the one of the other things I did is basically, if you know that the usual generative AI just the grounded the content on the Microsoft Learn on the FNO side, but it shouldn't have anything on the Xbox, right? Yes. So I'll say what are some of the Xbox products. Let's see. Hopefully it answers. Okay. Okay, lucky it came in back in. So Xbox Series. So what I have done basically, I can give a website and then train the Copilot, and then the Copilot would know to answer from that web page. So that's pretty much it here. And then if you want to go and find more in details, you click one, and it will go back to the site that been used and to the content where it's picking up. Right. And the other one which I can show here. So I want to see how many customer group records here. Hopefully it gives the answer. Let's see. It's in 34. Let's see, it's 34 or not. It's the revealing time. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be 34, hopefully. Yeah. And yeah, let's wait until it comes back. So what I've done, I've used the database entity, put it back to Copilot Studio, and then it can answer me the how much the record space got. Yeah, it's 34. It's good. Yeah, it's 34 here. Yeah, so let's see how I've done it. So that's the interesting part behind. So that Copilot Studio pretty much have the Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio is where the agent will which lies on the help and Q&A agent. So this one. So if you want to extend, you have to find the Copilot and Finance and Operations app. This one. And so if you see the knowledge, that's where I put in the public website. So you see that that's where it picks up the Xbox series and stuff. And then the customer group, sorry, I picked up from the Dataverse. So I give the Dataverse entity and then it can answer back to me. And what else? Yeah, and the other one I showed is the on welcoming part. So that's the welcome message. So if I go back to the welcome message, it's the trigger is using the AI trigger. And then if you go here, you could see, let me, so it is the user display name. So welcome back and the user display name. So it's giving me the username based on that. So you have the user context that you can use pretty much from here. You can find the system user context and then apply here. I mean, add in here. Yeah. So you have user email, first name, whatever the details you want to put it in here. Yeah. So that's how I did that part of it. And just to capture on the AI agents which came in to, I mean, yesterday announced some of it. So I was trying some but didn't succeed, but some was succeeding. But so I'll give you the concept. So you'll see the triggers here. So the trigger is the part that you can use the AI agents in the future. And then if you add, if you click add trigger, and then you have recurrence when an item is created, all these, you can possible to use. I don't know whether you have seen the sales order creation for BC. So they have an agent which can create the sales orders. So when the email comes in, it can read through the email content and then it'll identify which item and it'll automatically create the sales orders, which is not in the FNO. I would like to have that, but not yet. But yeah, that's kind of a example I can give you. But yeah, so you can imagine you can put in the email when the new email arrives in with the certain conditions, and then you can execute other steps. Yeah. Yeah, they have introduced, Microsoft introduced for the BC. Yeah, there's one agent for that. Sorry.
There are a lot of customization happening on the sales order level, PO level. You won't find it anyway. So.
Yeah, it's a bit complicated, as I would say. Yes. Yeah, so that's where it will come in, and you can use the agents pretty much on there. Yeah. Okay. So that's good. I'll probably show if you haven't seen the warehouse management. So this is where it is. So if you when you logged in, let me sign out, and then you would see that you would see the inside. So this is the warehouse. Once you'll see the how much outbound, counting, replenishment, inbound. So all this you can see that's the Copilot inside pretty much, right? And yeah, how much time? Yeah. No, this is not. I don't. Sorry, I'm not sure under the hood how they're doing it, to be honest. But I don't know. Natalie knows.
No, I think it's that one is direct.
Probably direct connection. That's what I would think. It's not the database.
Yeah, it's basically
Yeah.
you know how they get the information from the XML file.
Yeah.
the app to render it. So the simple is custom because all it does is, look, think of the worker. So when you start your shift, you want to know how much work is going to be visibility. That, and all the information is already fetched when you have the work item list and inquiry. You actually get this context in there. So all this kind of thing does is it summarizes it for you and just make it readable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically the same mechanics behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but the AI in the middle, which shapes that out and makes it easy.
Yeah, I think this is the X++ actions probably reading it, I guess. That's what I would suspect. But the M365, that's actually using the Dataverse. The one which I was showing, the on-hand one, that is the M365, that's the Dataverse one.
How do you use FNO?
Virtually.
Yeah.
Virtual. Yeah, Dataverse virtual entities, yeah. Yeah.
Well, virtual entities, if you use FNO virtual entities, it's literally FNO.
Yeah.
not
It's the
FNO,
same
it's
FNO data. Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah.
data. So that's just the place sort of.
Yeah. And then the same concept that you can, that's the one I was trying with the Copilot Studio, still not able to add I was not able to add the virtual tables still. So it's only but for the agents I was able to add, but not for the normal entities, database entities. I was not able to select the virtual entities. But I think that will be a good addition if you have it in the Copilot Studio, but still not there, that one. Yeah.
But do you have to configure everything here or it comes out of the box?
If you talk about the warehouse management, it comes out of the box. That's I've set it up already. Yeah. So I've used the customer group. If you see the customer group, that's I've added in here. Yeah. Depending on your use case, yeah, which use case you're going to address, then you have to add those database table.
The right
Yeah.
We've also released, actually, it was announced that it's Inspire, and now it's been reiterated on the Ignite, 3 types of autonomous agents. One is supplier collaboration, which is basically an agent which reads your inbox and understands how let's say you have a responsible supplier and say, hey, change this point to this one, and what it does, it reads the email and it does the changes. And for me, it's mind blowing because back in the consulting days when I was doing the implementation and customer asked me, can you read email and update my PO? I'll be like,
yeah,
This is now, finally we are in the day and age when it's like, and there are some others like account reconciliation when it compares your GL balances and sort of does the posting when there is an inconsistency and it actually tells you the first time you'll do it yourself. But second time, it will actually look and say, hey, last time we've done this thing, and actually gives you the full track of this is what I've done, this is the journal name, da. So you actually know what exactly I'm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries, all good. Yeah, that's the same one I want to talk about the supplier agent as well, but it's fine. No worries. It's yeah, so that's pretty much the demo part. Let me think which other things. Yeah, let's go back. Yeah, so supply communication agent. So that's the same one which Natalie was talking about. So I saw the today's session. So if you haven't seen it, you go to the Ignite and then watch the session that have quite a good video on that. So you have the agent skills, and then you can see the agent skills, and you can even tell like if you don't have a confirmed purchase order for certain number of days, then you can send an email back. So you can create certain tasks automatically. So it makes the life easier for the people who manage the POs basically. And yeah, so you have the impact analysis, everything. Yeah, it's mind blowing, to be honest. It's certainly mind blowing the way it's going in. So that's why I was mentioning on the earlier part, like it's from the system of record, it's going to a system of actions, right? And extending Copilot. So you have a few ways you can extend Copilot. So you can use the Microsoft Copilot Studio, or you can use the X++ execution as well. The actions you can use. So the Microsoft Copilot Studio is the one which I was showing earlier, that how you can add capabilities, skills, or then train it, and then it can help you on that one. On the Microsoft Copilot Studio, you can extend it. And then the other option is you can extend it using the Copilot, using the X++, basically. So you can call exact. So this is the best part of it I like on this one, because you can go back and call the certain classes from X++ and then execute it. So imagine I saw one demo which Microsoft showing, like if you want to change the user, the color of the bar, like which color you want to add in the user settings, you can tell, okay, I want to orange color, so it picks up the X++ class and then execute it. So that way, like, you remove a lot of hallucinations, and it actually uses the X++ to define some complex task. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, let's simplify what's happening. So data in, data out, pretty much, right? What we are seeing these days, and then you have a data processing in between. So in FNO, you'll put in the data, and then so maybe you might have an agent or something like that. Then you want to get the data output, right? So what's the key? If you think about whole this, what's the key? Yeah. Yeah. If you think about the output, what will be the key? Exactly. Data quality. Data quality is the most important thing, right? So you have to make sure your data is quality data, because otherwise garbage in, garbage out, right? So it doesn't matter what LLM you used, it will be giving you garbage data behind, right? So any LLM related copilot or agent only good as your data, right? So that's the key. So for us, I think what we need to think, like when we do implementations, everything, make sure that the data is clean, data quality is there, so that when the agents and everything comes in, it can work with this data. Otherwise, it's no point if the data is not good, because sometimes I've seen, like, we haven't emphasized that much on the data quality, which we should have. So I think that's a really important thing. Any implementation I do, I emphasize the data quality, because you will reduce a lot of issues which comes in after the implementation or during the implementations when you have good data quality, right? I don't know whether I have enough time left. Okay, 5 more minutes, sure. So type of ethical concerns raised by AI algorithms and ERP. So basically, what I want to say is, like, when you have an Copilot Studio, when you define it, you need to make sure that you have traceability. So that's I see some of the updates recently on the traceability, that there are certain things with the agents that you can even find out how these things been done, so you can audit it, which we haven't seen some of the things with the Copilot, but this is good thing which is with the agent, so you can trace back and see why it is, why you take this decision, right? How do you explain to the customer, right? So that's key. And there might be unfair outcomes, misguided evidence. So these things are key. So I have written in the blog as well on this one, because it's really key on these, like, ethical side of it. And when you're deploying an Copilot or anything AI related, you need to make sure that you test it properly, do a lot of things that make sure that you have find out different scenarios, different things like red teaming and everything. And Microsoft, I love on the responsible AI. So the responsible AI is key as well. So when you're designing, you need to think about the responsible AI. So you have accountability, explainability, accuracy, secure, privacy, human control, fairness, transparency. So all these are the key pillars of Microsoft on the responsible AI. So when you're designing anything, just think about these concepts, these things. Make sure you create something responsibly, so that everyone can use it. And yeah, Microsoft 6 guiding principles on that. That's fine. Let's go to we had report responsible AI issues. So if you have anything related to responsible AI issues, you have a link that you can go in and report back to Microsoft if there's an issue on the responsible AI for the standard solutions and stuff like that. Yeah. And what is critical for Copilot and agents? So input quality, clean structured prompts, clear context and instructions, basically. And then context management, maintaining conversation history, understanding the user intent. So that's key, right? And if you think about the output, consistent response formats, validation of the generated content. So this is key, right? You need to validate the generated content. It has to be, consistent in the response as well, because that is what increases the trust of the user, right? Feedback loop, user feedback collection, continuous improvement, and then the safety is paramount as well. There's a lot of safety measures which Microsoft have, like Purview and all those things behind the scenes. So yeah, make sure you use these security checks and everything behind in your solution that to make sure that everything aligns with it. Yeah, these are some of the resources, and yeah, Q&A if you have any questions. Yeah, happy to answer. Other than that, thank you. Yeah, sure.
When you say, let's say the customer group example, right?
Yeah.
Do I need to feed the commands as well, like to that system?
No, you don't need to. You don't need to feed the command. It'll learn. Yeah, you ask the questions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the LLM behind it'll train itself. Yeah. Yeah.
But for more complicated scenarios,
More
what you
complicated.
do,
Yeah.
You add topics. Topics is
Yeah.
basically what you and so and
You-
then this topic would hook in
Yeah.
the
Right part. Yeah.
and then you would have the other.
Yeah.
I was thinking stick to for like if you have a customer which has so many customizations, why can't we use this thing to train AI to how to create a sales order? Any project. So
By all means, you can do it.
Yeah.
It will guide you through those. Yes.
Yeah.
And whether it's going to be step by step or it's going to be more sort of components.
Yeah.
Well, you basically can like create a project. Go back and come back to you and say, hey, it's a sales order.
with all the custom fields built in, like if we train it.
If you have these custom fields, it's in the system, exposed and present in your APT, basically, so that can hook in through the virtual APT, or it's available, then by all means, yes.
You can use the topics to guide, because it's pretty much the Power Virtual Agents. You have the same concept behind previously as well. It's the same concept, but you can also use the AI as well now to find which path, because you might have multiple topics, but the AI can find which topic is the usable. And also that there are certain things that that you can also do with different like use Azure functions and all those things. You can also call, like it's depending on what use case that you want to fill. Yeah, there's a lot of different tools, but yeah, you have to see which scenario which you want to capture, and then based on that you have to work with it. Yeah.
So previously said that by using the business cycle,
Yeah.
system, you have the email with all the extracts of the sales order on the system and read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it? So
Yeah.
it's a bit
Yeah.
tricky, like why that option is not there.
Probably those kind of an experience where we went to we were trying to show it that they were also looking at business side. Other side, they were like asking Copilot, can you go into the database and get the product highest level because this profit of the data? I was like, you got it.
Yeah.
But it's more advanced.
Yeah.
There should be some difference.
Yeah, but that if you want to ask like the revenue and everything, that you have the way, like that's what I was mentioning on the Synapse link. So you can create the Q&A chat skills, and then you can put it back to the Copilot Studio, and it can read you from the Synapse link and give you back the data. I'm done. Yeah, good.
I think thanks, Kasan.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think I will conclude our today's event. Okay, first of all, I want to thank Natalia from Microsoft. Thanks for all your knowledge sharing. Kasun, thank you very much. And obviously, all you guys who make us motivate to come here. So when I was traveling to New Zealand from Australia, I was thinking why I'm coming here. And I can just bet now that this is the reason why I came here. Okay, so yeah, so we will. So there are a few giveaways which has been sponsored by our partners, and there is some refreshment as well for you guys. And again, thank you very much for coming us today. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.